I don't know if anybody's Shabbat started like mine, which is I walked to our other location at Second Unitarian. I was actually having a really nice walk. I was talking to my mother about how it's such a nice commute for me. It's just such a short walk. And I get there, I'm like, why are all the chairs facing in one direction?
No.
Why are there people here in suits? I'm like, this is not Mishkan.
What was it?
I don't know. Something.
I think it was a wedding.
Chairs faced in one direction and they had suits.
Wasn't Mishkan.
It was not Mishkan.
Definitely
It was not Mishkan. But we're here. We're here this moment. Earlier today, we had the honor of learning with two builders in our community, Martin and Felicia, who did a training with our staff about anti-racist work and how we can really engage in this important transformative work in our communities. And something that impacted me so much from all of the content that we went through today was the idea that transformation actually really begins with the work on yourself. And that actually is probably the most important of the work that you can do. And it's not about going out there and telling other people how wrong they are or what books they need to read or really how they're behind on the times or what they should be doing or how they should be organizing or how they should be activating themselves. It's actually about doing that transformational process of really not even paying attention to the other people around you. And I sat there being like, really? Like, really? Like, I'm not supposed to, like, aggravate my family at the dinner table, telling them how wrong they are? And then I actually thought about it a little bit more, and it was like, that actually makes a little bit of sense to me. And I thought about my own experience. I was talking to my counselor earlier this week and realized that I came out 20 years ago, which is actually really amazing to think about, right? I'm also getting older. But I thought, like, when I first came out, I was so angry, and I just wanted to tell everybody, especially people who I loved who reacted negatively, how wrong they were, how they were so homophobic and so backwards. And I wanted them to read things. I sent them articles, and I argued with them. And I focused so much of my energy on them, and it surprisingly, didn't change their opinions. So I kind of gave up a little bit. I pulled back a bit and started to just find joy and strength in my own queerness. Started to just find joy and strength in my community. And lo and behold, by actually transforming myself, 20 years later, my family loves me, I love them, and they're so supportive and so present. But that's because I didn't focus on them and telling them how wrong they were. I actually focused on myself and found joy and strength in my own being. I think Shabbat's a little like that. Shabbat is a little like that. It's like that anti-racist work. It's like the process of coming out. It's like the process of focusing on oneself and finding a space for joy and for peace and for your own inner transformation, of actually embodying the world that we want to see, of taking this time, this space today, and saying it's not self-indulgent to close that door and lock out the work week for just a few hours. That it's not indulgent to have some rest and time for yourself. It's not indulgent to connect with those we love, because actually by transforming ourselves, we invite the rest of the world into that process. By embodying the world that we want to live in, we actually begin to create that world around us. So take the work of the Shabbat seriously, joyfully, restfully, connectively, but seriously. This is important work. It's not self-indulgent at all. It's actually deeply transformative. So if you're here for the first time, or if you're here for the 100th time, if you know the words or don't know the words, if you know the melodies are totally lost, you are part of this work. I'm so glad you're here. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbos. For those of you with the Siddur, we're on 146, but the words for everything we're going to do are going to be up on the screen. Let's sing with joy. it's still, the novelty has not worn off. But if it helps to sort of shift in your body at all, to sit up a little bit straighter, to breathe a little bit deeper, to feel like you're actually changing something, singing something new within yourself right now. So now is a great time to do that. that it's a Rabbi Nachman tale. I'm gonna botch it because I wasn't planning on telling the story tonight, so I haven't reviewed it. But he tells the story of these musicians who used to play for the king back in the old times, like the ancient days, these musicians who were experts in their craft, and they played for the king, and the king was pleased with the music. And then their children who inherited their craft, they were beholden to play for the king. That's what their parents did, so that's what they did. And that's what their children did, and that's what their children's children did. And soon, they came to hate playing music for the king. And the king began to sense that the people making the music didn't really love it anymore. And the king didn't want to hear their music. And so soon, at some point, the king said, "Stop playing music for me. Go do other things." And so the children of 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 the original musicians went and did other things. But then at some point, some of them heard that their ancestors had once been musicians for the king. And they yearned desperately to play. And they weren't expert craftspeople in their craft, and they sounded a little squeaky, and they were off key, and they didn't do the words exactly right. But the king was so proud, and the king was so grateful, and the king was so happy. The king danced and laughed and cried and said, "Y'all can play music for me every single day." And the more music they played, the better at it they got. And over time, their children inherited the music that their parents played, and the whole cycle went again and again and again. But just what we did just then made me feel like, the distant children of the original musicians, coming together to play music and to sing and to stamp and to clap. And as Rabbi Stephen said, not just because it feels good, even though it does, but for a higher purpose. Even if that isn't necessarily what you came in thinking, that was what you were doing tonight. That in a way, we're playing music for the goddess, or the king, or God, or however you understand the force of the universe that brought your amazing life into being. And how incredible a privilege that is. We're gonna sit. We're at the bottom of 51. We can hear the echo of you on the computer. That's funny. I don't know who it's funny for. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I'm Rabbi Lizzie Heiderman. It's
Shabbat
nice
Shalom.
to see and to see for the first time some of your faces. We'll have a little bit of a chance later to get to know each other a little bit better. I want to check in with Martin and Felicia, who are about to speak right now, but I recognize you walked in like 3 minutes ago. Do you need more time? Okay, great. So these are the folks that Rabbi Stephen was referring to earlier, and we said we did a training with our staff in the office. We were talking about you. Yeah, all good things. So Martin and Felicia hail from Florida right now, most recently Cleveland, and have hailed upon Chicago to work with our staff as they did today, and also our builder community that is like members of the community tomorrow. And there are still some spots available if you're part of the community. This is like people who are creating the culture of the community that we build. So tomorrow is a day to think about and work on some of the things that Rabbi Stephen brought up earlier, some things they'll be talking about in a moment, and to talk about some of the things that are currently being written out of the books, actually, in schools in Florida, to the great chagrin of anybody paying attention. Things about race and identity and history and oppression and how we fit into that and how we've been part of that or how we haven't been part of that, or maybe we have but we didn't know, and all the stuff that brings up. And it is emotional, and it is fraught, and it can be hard, and it takes real love and care. And what makes Martin and Felicia, in my experience, so unique is they've been at this work for a long time. They come with a lot of street cred in this space, and they have a very particular kind of rooting, kind of grounding, and that grounding is very resonant with how I think Judaism also approaches the work of transformation. And I say this at every wedding I do, like looking at the couples in the room whose weddings I'm doing this summer. But that love is the foundation of the Jewish theory of change. And when I first heard Martin and Felicia speak, I thought like, oh, that's so Jewish. And so because we're about to enter into a particular prayer in the Friday night service that is kind of the transition into Shabbat, and it is a love poem. It's a love poem. It's not like it could have been anything, but it's a love poem. Lecha dodi, you lover, and it creates this kind of container to explore, I think, the power of love in the context of transformation. So I asked if Martin and Felicia might say a little something about how they came to this and how this is the foundation of their work. And so I got no idea what they're going to say right now, but and usually. Usually the sermon slot in the service comes a little bit later, but this is how it's going to shake out tonight. So come on up here. Unless you want to stay there, and we can. But why don't you come up here? Here. Yeah. Oh yeah. I think stand. And as long as you're getting your place, we can say hello to everybody doing Shabbat with us at home. Hi, everybody at home, or wherever you are. Good Shabbos.
Working through my mask beard here. 2 words I never thought I'd say in my life together. Got mask beard. Hello, everybody. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbos.
I'm Martin Friedman.
And I'm Felicia Savage Friedman.
One thing I was thinking as we were sitting there is that one of the things that makes love hard is we make assumptions. And a lot of our assumptions oftentimes don't go to the love side, but they go to the hate side or the doubting side. And this is like the 3rd or 4th thing that Felicia and I have done together with Mishkan, and every time I talk first. And I was like, I wonder what people think, I wonder how many people are making assumptions. There goes that white guy. The white guy always talks first. And his wife, who's a black woman, she always talks second. And I was thinking, I wonder if people watching at home or here are making assumptions that are doubtful or negative about our relationship. Clearly, you all don't know Felicia. If I'm talking first, it's because we've made a mutual decision to talk first. But oftentimes our assumption, and I've dealt with this over the years, I've been doing anti-racist work, where I'll have colleagues who are women of color who will say, you go first. And I'm like, no, you have to go first. Because if you don't go first, everybody's going to think that I'm the dominant, I'm being the dominant white guy, right? And so it really was hitting me as we were sitting there that so much of our assumptions go to love. So we're here to talk about transformational love. And my question is, if love isn't transformational, is it really love? This morning, we had a conversation that was pretty intense about conditional and unconditional love. And so the question I have for you all and for us is, if love is not unconditional, is it really love? If we put conditions on love, is it really love? And so for us, we don't separate work and relationship. Our relationship is work, a lot of work sometimes. But
This is real personal, you all.
It is, and it's not.
It's real recent.
Right, and you know, I don't think that we can be loving if we're not authentic. So I would just see what you have to say, and then I have a little something I want to put out as a sort of a visualization and a challenge after you talk.
Unconditional love. I mean, especially, you know, I'm a lover. I think I was born this way. So it's easy for me to love as I understood it. But what I really understand even deeper in doing this anti-oppression work is that my love for most of my life has been conditional. And it was hard for me to accept that. And I think really it only came into play in meeting Martin 5 years ago, 6 years ago, when I heard him speak on him being so vulnerable about him being a white Jewish man and how he was reclaiming his humanity. And if you've already heard me say part of this already, sorry. I ask you to just be patient and extend me grace. And what I saw in Martin, and Martin is the first white guy I've ever dated, because racism did not let me see white men as an option in terms of a partner. I had pretty messed up relationships, power over with a lot of white men. And so I thought that the magic really, and I say magic in as much as being able to hear Martin, and I really felt him, like physically in my body. I felt his words. And that was the first time I ever experienced a physical sensation so intimately with a white man speaking. And I knew at that point in time that he was going to be my life partner because it was so moving and on such a different intimate level. And at that point, I realized at 53, was it 53? That my 53 years of me feeling that I was a lover of people was really, you do what I like, so I like you and I love you. And I gave passes to people who were close to me. So the family I was born into, I allowed a lot of disrespect because they were family. And that was conditional too. But with Martin, he bust my heart wide open. You know, I say that like the Grinch, how the Grinch's heart, you know, expanded, like for real. He really did. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was so embarrassed and ashamed to know I had been conditionally loving people. And so it's still a work for me. This is major work. At 58, I'm still unpacking what unconditional love looks like. We had a pretty intense night last night. You know, we were thinking about divorce court, maybe again.
We've never gone before. It would be
No.
the first time.
Yeah, that's right.
But we have thought about it before.
We thought about it, and it's, you know, like, can we really do this? And then, like, we're here now, you know, sharing about our transformational love, and what we're saying really is that this is hard work to expand your heart. This is not for the faint of heart. This is not easy. It's not a Disney movie. but it's the most rewarding work I've ever done in my life. The way that I can go to sleep and have a peace about really how I show up now is just so glorious. And I know it couldn't be anything but the presence of God that allows us to continue to be honest with each other about our feelings and to work through frustration. You know, as a yoga instructor, a lot of people want to know, like, I want to be transformed, Felicia. I was like, really? Because transformation is painful. And I've never talked to a butterfly, but I think I was a butterfly in another life, and a caterpillar. But to go from a caterpillar to a butterfly, it's a painful process, you all. You know, and so if you're up for this in terms of the unpacking, you know, the values and beliefs that we were raised with and questioning, then be uncomfortable. Be uncomfortable and explore. How are you limiting your love? That's my question. You know, is it only confined to folks who look like you, pray like you, culturally are like you? How could you expand? What would that look like? Because I know for me, in finding Martin, I know it was divine intervention. But I'm a better person, much better person. And that was my commitment. I wanted to be better. I cried out to the universe that I want to be better. And so I found a partner that also had cried out to the universe to be better. And so we both have a commitment to grow beyond our ego. And so that's what allowed us to see each other through all of the barriers that separate us as humans, And it's glorious, it's painful, and it's glorious, it's painful, It's messy, but it is so worthwhile.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just real briefly, I know we've got to be pretty brief probably now, huh?
Sorry.
All right? Keep going. Go ahead. Pretty brief. All right. So I'm going to be real brief, but I really have this thing I want to just share. But first of all, when Rabbi Lizzie talks about the approach that, resonated with her, and the approach is an approach of self-transformation before we can do collective transformation. And that's why we fit in so well at Mishkan, because that's what we feel here. What Felicia felt from me that day was holding white people accountable. And I would say at the time, I was probably like 80% doing it from a place of like gotcha, and like 20% from a place of love. And I've had to transfer. I literally, I've identified myself as a conflict addict. And I've been addicted to conflict my whole life. And I've literally had to go through like a recovery process around conflict because I thought it's how I had to be. So we just want to, as we close out, we just want to say that for us, if we want to have collective external transformation, it has to be internal. And if we want to bring transformation into the world, it has to be love-based. I just want you to do this real quick. I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to imagine somebody that you hate. It could be somebody in your life that you know personally. It could be a famous figure, perhaps a political figure. But I want you to think of somebody that you hate for just a second. Now, I know most people here are probably racialized as white, so you don't have to say it out loud, but how many of the people that you're envisioning are also white? And the reason why, okay, or you can say, but the reason why I asked that question is because a lot of times in what we call anti-racist work, it's always about the white person like being in loving relationships and helping people of color. But we are terrible at being in loving relationships with other white folks. In fact, we're very good at hating other white folks. I want you to close your eyes again, and I want you to imagine, what would that person have to do in order for you to love them? How would they have to change in order for you to love them? Open your eyes. How many of you think that that person will ever change in the way you want them to so you can love them? Last thing. Close your eyes again. and ask yourself, what do you need to change about yourself in order to love that person? That's transformational love. We have been fighting, we've been anti-racist, we've been anti-oppression, we've been fighting and fighting and fighting, and what has it gotten us? We have never seen long-term transformational change to end racism because we've never done the internal work.
He dropped the mic. Thank you all.
Thank you. Yeah. The yeshiva way of giving somebody props or snaps is going. We're on page 152, or just the slides. Thank you, Martin and Felicia, for taking us into this love poetry and into Shabbat.
Ishmiya
It's so nice to be here and to be here with you and the specific bunch of yous that are here. And I wonder if anybody who's here for the first time, and there are a few of you, we could hear from you. Like, who are you? Where did you come from? How did you learn about us? Like in a sentence or two. And we actually, because so that the folks at home can also know, 'cause the last time we did this here, they were typing in like, we want to know who they are. And so we actually have, I know it's like, it feels like a lot of pressure, but actually it just helps people hear you better. Who's here for the first time? Like, stand up. Yeah, stand up. Let us cheer for you. Let us cheer for you. Yay. Tammy, would you start us off? Tell us who you are and where you're from. Who brought you?
Hi, everyone. Whoa. I'm Tammy. My friend Ari brought me, but I've been on your email list for a while and been in hiding for 2 years. So happy to be here.
Welcome.
I've been here a couple times, but I've never introduced myself. So I'm Jared. I have a Jewish mother in the town, so she has made it clear that Mishkan exists.
But she doesn't want to change you. She just
she
loves you a lot.
She just, it's there if I ever want to go. Yeah. And I'm actually good friends with Abby, so she invited me one time recently, and that's why I'm here.
All right.
Welcome.
Whoops. Okay.
Anything else to do?
Excuse me.
It's like the Dr. Phil show. Like you have to go. Is there anybody else? All right. Anybody who doesn't want the mic, but like you would stand if you didn't have to speak into a microphone? All right. Well, I'm so glad you're here. Welcome. You are at Mishkan. We move around the city, and so there were actually a couple people I think who went to the office by accident or went to Second Unitarian by accident. Thank you for the persistence of actually making it here tonight. Usually on Friday nights, we're at Second Unitarian in Lakeview, and tonight I believe it was a wedding for which all the chairs were facing one direction and people were in tuxes. But next Saturday morning, so we do every other Friday night there, and then every so often here, so it's worth just checking the emails or the calendars. And then every other Saturday morning at JCYS, which is a space up Lawrence near Damon. We'll be on next Saturday morning, and that's sort of our schedule. And there's a whole lot of stuff coming up that I'm not going to tell you dates because you won't remember, but like if any of this is, piques your interest, go check out the calendar. There's a lot happening. The annual Queer Story Slam, you could contribute, or you could just cheer people on.
Yep.
And it's virtual. Or is it in person?
No, it's in person.
It's in
sure.
person
Yeah.
for the first time in a few years. So that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Is coming up for people is next Friday night for families with kids 5 to 10. Is there spots or no?
I think it's sold out.
Okay, so never mind.
If you desperately want a spot, email me.
All right, if you want to bake challah with your 5 to 10-year-old next week Friday night, it's a great time for that to happen. And good reminder for everybody else.
It's your mom
Just
calling, telling you to come bake
That's
challah.
right. Rabbi Stephen is kicking off an intro to Talmud class with Hadar, the Jewish learning institution. They're based in New York, but obviously, just like everybody else, they've been online for the past couple of years, and so they're doing a Talmud class for us, and you will actually learn how to learn Talmud.
Yeah.
Even if you're starting from nothing?
Yep, it's like a 4-part workshop. Text will be done in English, but it'll also be in Hebrew as well for those who can read Hebrew. And it's going to be like, what in the world is the Talmud, and how do I read rabbinic texts? And then it's going to launch into an entire summer of hanging out with the rabbis. Yeah,
With the
I hope
ancient
you guys-
rabbis.
No, with us.
But also
like,
you.
With us, like studying text together, like in the park maybe.
Awesome.
So if you wanna get your skills up, yeah, sign up.
Love it. Thank you. And then a couple different small groups. Small groups are led by members of the community, so not hanging out with rabbis unless you attend as a layperson, which any of you could. So the Kihilat Kabbalah, which is a group studying Kabbalah, Rosh Chodesh circle, which is welcoming the new moon for women, and then a queer Shabbat potluck. And all of this is coming up that Elliot is hosting. All of this is coming up in the next week or so. And I think am I missing anything?
No, all good stuff.
Again, if you're interested in coming tomorrow morning and you didn't register, talk to myself or Rachel Court over here or Rebecca Stevens in the back. We're starting at 9 a.m. tomorrow at the office. Oh, it's starting on Monday. I don't want. We're good. Yeah. I've already got the groups all figured out and everything. Yeah. All right. Now I feel bad. If anybody wants to join the next Israel-Palestine book group, it's starting on Monday. And you're so invited. And it's not an imposition at all. Great. We're going to do. Are there any other things to say?
No, there's
I don't
nothing
think
else
so.
to say. let's do
The
Shabbos. Let's do
awkwardness
Shabbos.
of, yes, let's sink deeper into Shabbat. For people in the book, Ma'ariv, the evening service starts on page 157. We will stand. We will face east, which is that way. You.
Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. You can be seated. ומעביר יום ולילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב והאביב.
158, אהבת עולם בית ישראל. עמך אהבת תורה ומצוות צדקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת. הנה אדוני אלוהינו ושוכבנו ותחומנו נשיח לחוקיך.
כי הם חיינו
ואורך ימינו
ובהם נגן יומם ולילה ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני Bring your hands to your eyes. Take a moment to be alone in your own little darkness. Shema.
Eloheinu Keep these words of mine in your heart and your soul. Tie them on your hand as a reminder and between your eyes. Teach them to your generation, speaking of them when you're at home and away, when you lie down and when you rise up. Turn to the bottom of 162. ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ומרים ובני ישראל לחנו שירה בשמחה רבה ויאמרו כולם
So I'm going on vacation, which I'm very excited about. And I've been counting down the days until my vacation arrives because I've just been so excited. I also wasn't feeling well last week, and I was counting up the days that I hadn't been feeling great. I realized there's this difference. When we're really looking forward to something that we believe is coming, we count down to it. When we're experiencing something that is difficult, we count the amount of time that we have been in it. So we're in this period now where we count up. We count the Omer, which is originally an agricultural thing. We count the sheaves of barley that we've harvested, hoping that we will reach abundance, hoping that we will reach sufficiency, hoping that we will reach day 50 when we celebrate Shavuot, which is the giving of the Torah. But it's an anticipatory sort of hope. It's not a given. And there's a certain way in which Counting up or down, it makes time pass so fast and so slow at the same time. But the thing about counting down is that you see the number getting smaller and your hope and your excitement grows. Oh my God, only 2 days. And counting up, it's so easy to lose count. It's so easy. Has it been 6 days, 7? Has it been 15, 16? It kind of all starts to blend together. And I think that's such a good tie to the Omer, which is a little bit of a mourning period. We depress our joy just a little bit during the Omer. Some people don't get haircuts or they don't shave. Some people won't hold weddings or big parties. It's like we know that we're not yet in a perfect, abundant, fully realized world. We're trying to get there, right? We count every night to get ourselves there, but it's with a sense of like, I hope we make it. And it's been a long time that I've been counting to get there. And meanwhile, it's not getting any easier. So for all of you who have been counting up, who have been enduring something, hoping to reach a place of abundance, hoping to reach a place of blessing, but not there yet, this is your moment in the service to say, spread over a shelter of peace on me in this journey. Just like the Israelites had the clouds of glory that accompanied them in the desert, spread over me this cloud that will protect me and shade me as I make my way towards what I hope will be there, whether that is healing of mind, body, spirit, more abundance, more sufficiency, more blessing, more connection, more community. We are walking that direction. And we're not going to stop walking, but we might need a moment to be shaded and protected, to feel enveloped by the community and by the clouds that protect us. So if you are thinking of someone who is in need of healing, if you are in need of healing, if you are online and you want to share in the chat who you are thinking of, if you are here in the room and you want to just speak their name out into the room quietly under your breath or to someone next to you, we are counting with you until we reach the promised land. We are counting with you until that counting no longer needs to happen because you're there, because you're well and safe and protected.
We're on 163. Hashkileinu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'ha'amideinu shomreinu l'chaim Hashkibeinu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'ha'amideinu shomreinu l'chaim Ufros aleinu Sukkah shalom Ufros aleinu Sukkah shalom Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'ha'amideinu shomreinu l'chaim Ufros aleinu Sukkot shlomecha Baruch atah Adonai Haporeh Sukkot shalom aleinu Yom kol amo Yisrael Ve'al using books, the Amidah is on page 166, and there's also just sort of a series of questions, some reflections up there on the screen to just take a few moments of personal prayer, space, and time. The tradition is to take 3 steps backwards and 3 steps forwards, but if actually the purpose of having your own personal space would be better served by like going outside the circle and doing that, that's okay too. We'll come back together in a few moments. About what these words mean in a minute. That we just sang, we'll sing them again in a minute as we go into the blessing of counting the Omer. For the sake of the unification of God and the Shekhinah, Kudsha Brichu is the Holy Blessed One, and the Shekhinah, which is, I feel like if anybody's even studied a little bit of Kabbalah, so they've heard of the Shekhinah, which is like the feminine presence of God, and we love that because we're like, wait, Judaism has a feminine conception of God? Yes, in fact we do, and it's the God that, sort of hangs out among us, and the name Mishkan, actually, that our community comes from, is from that very same root, Shekhinah, which means to dwell, like God's dwelling. among us and between us. But this is interesting, for the sake of the unification of God and the Shekhinah. Hineni muchan u'mezuman lasot mitzvah taseh. Here I am, ready and prepared to do this mitzvah. And this is a Kabbalistic formulation, like an incantation, an invocation that is done before doing all kinds of mitzvot, all kinds of ritual mitzvot, lighting Shabbat candles, or counting the Omer, or like waving a lulav at Sukkot. And what on earth are we praying for? For the sake of the unification of God and the Shekhinah. So if you're like, oh, I know Kabbalah, I know, hold for a second. This is beautiful, but what does it mean? What might it mean? Please, yeah. Ooh, striving for balance. For who? Can I push you? Okay, all right, so striving for balance, first for me, because I'm the one who's about to do this mitzvah. Okay, others? For the sake of the unification of God and the Shekhinah, here I stand ready and prepared to do this mitzvah. Yes?
For me, what came to mind is an internal unification of the conception of God as something that is personal. The God and the Shekhinah are already connected, but I think that sometimes it's hard for us to remember that it's very internal and personal.
There's this, that the conception of God, the creator of the universe, that mystical force, whatever it is very personal. Yeah. And that we ourselves are kind of like fractured about it. Is that what you're saying? And so this is a prayer to harmonize the fracture within ourselves. Am I misquoting you, or am I?
Yeah, no, that's how I think about it.
So that this is a prayer for the sake of the unification of God and the Shekhinah inside of myself. I'm about to do this mitzvah.
And
Yeah.
I add one thing on.
Yeah.
That's how I think about all the mitzvot. That like, I'm not, turning down this cheeseburger because it's like something in the sky, and I have to remind myself that.
Yes. Wait, I'm not turning down this. I'm repeating you because of. I'm not turning down this cheeseburger because of some presence in the sky who's going to zap me. I'm doing it because.
I'm doing it because I'm part of this.
I'm part of what?
I'm part of God.
I am part of God. And by taking the action that I am taking with the intention that I am taking it, I am restoring the harmony between myself and God. And the Omer is like that too. Now everybody's like, oh, I can't top Abby. Anybody else? So these Kabbalists, these mystics who created actually all of Kabbalat Shabbat, like the idea of getting together and singing on a Friday night as a way of welcoming in the Sabbath, they were welcoming in, they would like go out into the fields and welcome in God, from the setting sun, but like the idea of Shabbat. And they had this conception of God as actually having kind of layers, and like way out there. I love this. This is it because it harmonizes with Buddhism really beautifully. Like Buddhism is like there's the great nothing out there, and Judaism is like out there is the nothingness without end, Ein Sof, the ayin, the nothingness without end, which is sort of like the most hard to conceptualize way out there version of God. And then the closer you get down to earth, you get to the Shekhinah, who is like a palpable presence among us. And when you say like, I feel like I can feel God in the room, that's like you and the Shekhinah making out, And that's why on a Friday night, we there's like all of this love imagery, because Friday night is supposed to be actually, like these people were highly sexual. I don't know if they were very repressed or very liberated, but Friday night was the union, like the actual, like the God and the Shekhinah would get it on Friday night. And so, and it's a little weird, like, oh God, we're in the room with that? Yeah, we're making it happen. That's the whole idea. Like, the harder we sing, the more we connect, the more intention we bring, the more God is unified. This idea, and actually, it's not even just a Kabbalistic incantation. Every time in the morning when we're saying that, right before we say the Shema, we gather the four corners of our tzitzi together and we say, Yachedcha, God, we are trying to unify you be'ahava, with love, every single day. So I put this out there for you as we go into the Omer, which I know for some people is like as Rabbi Dina would say, could just be counting, But imagine doing something as simple as counting with the kind of intention that reminds you that you are part of the unification of God in this world. Just like walking around the world, having this intention, L'shem yichud kud shabrichu udshkinte. My job is to unify God as I walk around, as I eat, as I speak. And somehow that actually, the Kabbalists believed, was a part of the tikkun, the healing of the universe, which they believed was actually broken. That God, sort of, in coming into and creating this world, sort of exploded God's self. Once upon a time, maybe God was this perfect whole thing, but then the light shattered into shards, and the shards are all over the world, and it is our job to pick them up and to collect them and to put them back together. And that is tikkun olam. That is the healing of the world. And that is the putting together of God. So now, I'm going to invite us to stand. We're going to sing this one more time, and then Seth is going to continue the slides for the blessing of counting the Omer. And tonight, yesterday we were day 13, and so you can say it in Hebrew with us, or you can say it in English. We've been counting since the second night of Passover, which was exactly 2 weeks ago. Hayom arba'a asar yom shehem shnei shavuot la'omer. Today is 14 days, which is 2 weeks of the Omer. We're gonna move it up here. Next slide, Seth, if you wouldn't mind. We're gonna go to V'hashevota. V'hashevota. why we say at the end of that prayer, Vayom hahu yehiye Adonai echad. One day God will be one, ushmo echad, and God's name will be one. Kaddish Yatom, Mourner's Kaddish, is the prayer we say for our beloved departed, or our respected departed, or our connected departed. So we'll go around the room and hear who people are thinking about tonight and remembering. To the 6 million of our people who died in the Holocaust, Yom HaShoah was this week. To the 10 million people who died in the Holocaust, and to everyone who lost their lives prematurely for all different kinds of reasons. Yehi zichronam livracha. May all of their memories be blessings. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah.
Amen.
Ve'alma divrach cherutei ve'amlich malchutei v'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol Beit Israel Bagala uvizman kariv imru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mivorach leolam olomei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yit hadar v'yit aleh v'yit halal shmei dekudsha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata damiran ve'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Israel v'imru. Amen. Osei shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru.
Amen.
Amen. May all of their memories be blessings to you. And welcome to the whole Alpert family. I didn't realize everybody was coming. Welcome. In a moment, we're going to transition into a little bit of like a Shabbos, I'll call it a snack. It's not exactly dinner, but like, we got nosh. We got nosh, and it would be great to say hello to those of you who are here for the first time, or to just hang out. So we will be singing ourselves out with a song, and
Shabbat
and good
shalom.
Shabbos. All right.
Yeah.
Let's pray for peace. Let's get on our feet and pray for peace. We need it. We need it. Oh, say shalom b'roma. Booyah, say shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei te'el. Ve'imru, amen. Oh, say look at this.
Not matzah.
Delicious.
Oh man.
I'm good.
Arm strength.
I just did an arms workout.
ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה וישפוט ביום השביעי את כל מלאכתו אשר עשה ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. Savri, with your permission, my friends. L'chaim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam.
Borei peri hagafen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu. V'shabbat kodsho b'ahava u'vratzon hinchilanu. Zikaron l'maaseh bereshit. כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנהלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Oh, y'all, this is pre-sliced. So what this means is when it goes around, take a piece and share.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Amen. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Here, give me some in this thing.
No, always
Shabbos.
the middle. Always for the middle.
Always from the middle?
No, that's you always take from the middle.
Here, wait.
Total chaos
I'm just
rabbi.